The next major election year in Michigan is just around the corner.
In 2024, you will be asked to choose a presidential candidate, and then during the August primary, you'll have a chance to set the lineup for the next U.S. Senator from the state of Michigan.
With an early look at that race, political reporter Rick Alvin joining us. Rick.
So, Brian, early look is right. There is much we do not know about this race, including who's going to be in it. A number of people have said they are running, but the real campaign has not fully shaped up and is likely not going to for a number of weeks, probably months. Nonetheless, it's not too early to test the early interest in a rare open Senate seat, a seat that's been held by Senator Debbie Stabenow since being elected in 2000, and one that will no doubt have an important impact, on the balance of power in Washington. Recently, Emerson College polling asked 1,121 likely voters in Michigan about that important race. They included a number of potential candidates, some who've expressed their intention to run. Others may be considering it or may have been mentioned as possible candidates. If you don't know all these names, don't feel out of the loop. A race like this is an important opportunity for many people who may not be household names, but are interested in running and serving, and they have a chance to compete when there's an open seat. Now, I'm not going to go through all the names, but let's take a look at how the numbers shake out in a hypothetical Democratic primary. We can say with certainty that mid-state Congresswoman Alyssa Slotkin is running, and the fact that she's already announced and has some name ID helped propel her to an early lead among 7 Democrats in the poll, again, not knowing precisely how many of those names will actually get on the ballot. Slotkin is the preference of almost 34% of voters asked. Actor and activist Hill Harper has declared his candidacy, and again, name ID may have helped him into the technically 4th place, still in single digits at 8.1%. You can see the other candidates and where they showed up in the poll, but pay particular attention to 2nd and 3rd place. 24.8% undecided, 22% want someone else. Combined, almost 47%. Not surprising this early on. This primary is just short of a year away, but it does suggest there is room for a candidate, declared or not, to make up some ground since voters have not decided yet, and that is exactly what you would expect. Now, on the Republican side, things are similarly unsettled. With a few candidates declared, others are being rumored to be considering a run. It is entirely possible that many, if not most of the names tested, won't be on the ballot at all, but here's the list of Emerson's pollsters included. Note, this 2 former congressmen are getting the most traction in this poll of candidates, though they don't do as well as someone else and undecided. Mike Rogers, who served a decade ago in the same seat that Democrat Slotkin now holds, though greatly changed during redistricting, and Peter Meyer, who was elected to the 3rd district, that was Kent, Ionia, Berry, and Calhoun counties. That district, too, largely dismantled by redistricting. Former representatives who have not announced their intentions poll with relatively low percentages. Rogers was the pick of 12.4%, while Meyer was the preference of 8.5% of the respondents. And again, someone else and undecided get a combined, they are the big winners, even more so than for Democrats, at a whopping 67.6%. So what do we make of all of this? Well, first of all, it's too early to know who's in and who's out. So a lot of this is simply a look at possibilities. Secondly, it shows room in both races for a candidate to capture the imagination of primary voters and create a real race on the Democratic side. Harper is running as a more progressive candidate against the more moderate Slotkin. And for Republicans, both Meyer and Rogers are considered more moderate, not in the Trump camp, which leaves open the possibility for a more conservative candidate who might get some traction with the MAGA crowd. Now, the poll was conducted 1 year and 5 days before the Michigan primary, and before it will be held, and has a very respectable margin of error, plus or minus 2.9%. Polling was done by Emerson College polling. Now, as I often say, a poll is a snapshot into a moment of time, and this is a solid poll. It's done with good, all of the metrics and all of the things they do. But because we don't know all of the people that are going to be involved, we don't know who's in, who's out, this snapshot might be a little out of focus. We don't know exactly what's happening there, but early on, what we do know is this is going to be the most expensive, and I would say the most exciting race that we've seen for U.S. Senate in a long time, and it will impact the balance of power in Washington.
Absolutely. 370 days? to go.
Yeah.
All right. Rick, thank you.
Thanks, Rick.